well, what if I do I can't feel? And I'm like, what do you mean? Everyone could feel. You mean if you can't feel in your genitals? I understand that's a big loss, and it's going to be hard to move away from that. But we have to focus on everything that we can feel. So when our breath increases, when our heart increases, when our blood pressure goes up, right? Respiration, tingling, flush, all this is sexual. So we have to begin to recognize all these things as sexual responses.
After a spinal cord injury, you absolutely have to redefine sex. For many people, before their spinal cord injury, sex is very limited to the genitals. People are very focused on orgasm. And after your spinal cord injury, things may not be the same in that area, so you have to expand and explore and have a curiosity about each other's bodies. There may be more attention on foreplay, on sensation that you can feel above the level of your injury.
I wasn't fully satisfied trying to be how I was before. It wasn't like really fulfilling to me. So I had to learn what for me would be like, okay, I had sex without just being like my dick all hard and I had intercourse, even though I really didn't enjoy it the way I used to. So I had to like learn different things about myself that was pleasurable to where I felt like that was sex, because I really, really enjoy how that felt.
You can absolutely engage in sexual activity. Is sex the same as it was before? No, it is different. You are a different person now after your injury, but you can achieve pleasure and happiness and have an intimate relationship that's very strong and powerful as you did before your injury.
A very critical piece of this is acceptance of what is, and of aligning our sexuality with our body. If you are expecting or wanting to do something that your body's just not wired for, that's a setup for failure. It's part of the process maybe of dealing with the loss and accepting it, but it's also where the possibilities open up. This is what I enjoy. This is what works for me. This is what's possible for me. Maybe sex is mostly about kissing your neck, or if your nipples are still sensitive. Let things off the list that are simply not options for you. Bid them a loving, heartfelt farewell.
I was like, oh my God, I was praying to God. I'm like, I want to feel something. I didn't know if I was going to be able to feel the penetration, this and that. But we started very slowly to interact and to know my body. So he helped a lot. That was so cool. He was into exploring. That first time, everything went well. And I'm like, okay, I could take it from here. Yeah, I mean, I'm still alive. I feel in a certain different way, but I was able.
There's erogenous zones all over your body. For some people who are a high-level injury, their ears become very sensitive. Their nipples can become very sensitive. Sometimes just the nape of their neck will be a newfound pleasure spot. It's a matter of trial and error. Some people are looking for that genital stimulation, and it's not always there, but you can have orgasms without having genital stimulation. It's, again, a matter of, your level of injury and what you're willing to try, and just exploring on yourself first and then with a partner.
My injury is C4, C5, so I can feel my shoulders up. Everything prior to that was more focused on my lower body. Then I realized how sensual the neck is, the touch on the neck.
Through my whole body, there's different sensations, but usually my injury goes from the nipple up, where I could feel very well. But then you come into play with eyesight, you come into play with smells, you come into play with hearing. So all of that comes into play. That's when intimacy comes in, not sex. Because when you get to that moment where you enjoy an expression, you enjoy a word, the way they laugh or they smile, that's intimate. And that becomes the whole ball game.
If the expectation is it's gotta be genital intercourse, and I can't do that, therefore I cannot have sex, that's a setup for an attitude that really doesn't get you anywhere. If that's what it has to be, then everything else is off the list. I think of it as sort of reordering the top 10 list. So for me, genital intercourse remained an option, but it wasn't the thing that I felt the most from, so it dropped down the list. Whereas cunnilingus, number 1, baby. Just because one cannot feel intercourse doesn't mean that there aren't other aspects about it that are really satisfying and wonderful. I may not feel it, but I sure like to see it happening. I sure like the effect that it has on my partner. I sure like knowing that our bodies are together in that particular way. There are all kinds of things about it still to appreciate. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.